Attention, please. The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Lee, don't bring your hanky. I just shot me a Yankee. Tell the slaves to keep a-working in the fields. Soon Abe Lincoln will surrender, and the rebel yell we render as we set the Union Army on its heels. Don't you worry, we'll be winning in a hurry. You'll be sitting in the White House by and by. Cindy Lee, don't bring your hanky, 'cause I just shot me a Yankee, and the South is gonna win, so don't you cry. Don't bring your hanky, I just shot me a Yankee. Tell the slaves to keep a-working in the fields. Soon Abe Lincoln will surrender, and the rebel yell we render as we set the Union Army on its heels.
Yes, we will be putting Abraham Lincoln on his heels.
Matthew Holmes is a proud Southerner, a proud Southerner author who honors his Confederate ancestors. Just like his ancestors, he continues to be a fire eater, or in other words, a very devoted Southern nationalist and hell-bent on Southern secession of the illegally occupied Confederate States of America, illegally held hostage by the United States of America. We live in a time corrupt politicians blatantly ignore the Constitution and do everything to dismantle our beloved Southern culture. They continue to destroy our monuments to our gallant Confederate heroes. They continue to keep our people in poverty and do everything to do away with our Southern accent. This, my friends, is what is called Southern cultural genocide, and it must be stopped by divorcing the United States of America. We call secession by becoming a separate nation. Matthew Holmes is a proud Southerner, a proud Southern author who honors his Confederate ancestors.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. He absolutely does honor his Southern ancestors. And today, my friends, we have with us Matthew Holmes, author and historian of at least the 3 books I currently have in my hands. I have more books that are about to come to my house. We recently had discussed the book Hell in the Cell. And
Yes.
if I'm not mistaken, Matthew, you have something you want to tell the people and show them, I believe?
I have Matthew Marshall's flag right here.
Cool
I had it
beans.
custom made, and it was to honor him and his father that were in the 52nd North Carolina Infantry.
Let me ask you, this question might be stupid, but as I'm reading through your books and you have all these images of the various regimental flags and so forth. Now, I know in combat, for the enemy to successfully take the other side's flag in
Yes.
combat, it's a big thing. It's like, oh, they got their flag. We're going to hang it around a wall. We're going to put it over the fireplace, or something like that. Um, what happened to the original flags? Were they destroyed? Were they lost in
Well,
history, or what?
the regimental flag, it exists still today. It's in a museum in North Carolina. I've got to find which museum because I plan to visit. However, the battle flag was lost to history, unfortunately.
Now, lost. Do you mean it was destroyed? It was burned? It was stolen?
Stolen.
Stolen. So we're probably going to assume that maybe someone from the north might have stolen it to keep as
Yes.
a trophy, I guess.
The 63rd Virginia Infantry one was also stolen too. From what I was told, it was stolen at Bentonville, which is Nathan's battle flag.
Hmm. So, as I was mentioning, I currently have three of Matthew's books. This one here, Hell in the Cell. I read it; it's phenomenal. I know Jen also read it.
Mhm.
She and I both are in agreement that this book here, it takes you. I won't say by the throat, but actually takes you and grabs you and brings you into the almost like you're side by side of Matthew's ancestors fighting because the way he does the narrative. I think you said you do it first person, correct?
Yes.
So folks, when you're reading this, keep in mind that the way the folks spoke back in the day is not the way we speak today with what some would call the proper English. Back there, some of the words were said a little bit differently. They were used a little bit differently. So you have to put yourself into the bodies of these guys and understand how they talk. The other book that I had not yet read, but since I finished this book that we're talking about tonight, I will start reading this one right away. This one here is called Spirit of Vengeance. Do you want to tell the folks what this book is about?
Yes. So, Spirit of Vengeance. It is about my fourth great uncle. His name is Christian Miller III. So, growing up, he actually grew up pretty poor. His family, they did not own any slaves or nothing in present day, what would be Morgan County, West Virginia. So, how did they make money? They went into logging. Well, Christian Miller had an incident and it put him half blind.
Hmm.
It actually messed up his eye. From what I was told by one of my family members that are up in there still today that live there, they actually have told me, and this is an oral tradition passed down, that a tree limb hit him in the eye. But in 1864, he was sitting on his porch, and a Unionist swine, or should I say Yankee bastard, came to his home and shot him on his porch. He shot him dead, two bullets with a revolver.
Was there any reason why the Union soldiers shot him? I mean, I would assume if your uncle was blind, he probably wasn't holding on to a rifle or a gun.
He
No.
wouldn't give up his property.
Oh.
He wouldn't give up the Miller farm.
Now, was the soldier that shot your uncle under orders to seize the property by all measures necessary? Was he ordered to shoot and kill your uncle?
No, and
So
that's what makes it a war crime because even his commanding officer made a statement too that he should be hung for it. It's in the newspaper.
so let me ask you this. Uh, I understand during the war, and plus, especially towards the end when the tide had come and gone for the Confederacy, that a lot of the property was being seized by
Yes.
those in the north. The soldier that shot. I'm just trying. I'm asking these questions to try and get into the mindset of the Union soldier right now. Um, uh, Obviously, the Union soldier was not under orders to shoot and kill the homeowner of this property. So was his thinking was that, hey, Colonel blah blah blah, the owner of the property is dead. We can now seize the property for our own betterment. Was that what the
Yes.
soldier was thinking?
Hmm.
But instead, what happened was, as I understand, and I haven't read the book yet, but as I understand, he does eventually get hung for this crime. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. And then we won't go into any more detail about the book. You have to get the book to find out, well, what happens after the fact. So the book we're talking about today is Blood in the Mountains: The Life of Private Nathan Holmes in the 63rd Virginia Infantry Regiment, Company A. And this here is an actual photo of the private Matthew Holmes. I mean, private Nathan Holmes. Yeah, that's a good picture of
Well,
you
what,
there.
ma-
Yeah,
what
you
makes
age,
it
you age well.
what makes it funny though is my first name is his middle name.
Okay, but when put in these I know I'm probably blocking my camera, but put in the book of him with this picture next to yours. Uh, the similarity, yeah, exactly. The similarity is very, very much there, except for you lose the mustache. Um, so let's start talking a little bit about the book. First off, obviously you have, I believe it was eight books, eight books so far that are written. I got more coming to do reviews on. The next one, if it's coming, that everyone's been asking about is Chemtrails Over Dixie. So I'm really
Yes, sir.
anxious to dig into that one. But Blood in the Mountains, um, what obviously the answer is going to be very evident. Why did you first off tie to it Blood in the Mountains?
Why? Well, for one, so he had his allegiance, of course, to Southwest Virginia during the war, and he actually, he defended his family and he defended his home. He's saying that it became under siege. Now, a lot of Yankees they'll bring up the argument, oh well, he was a slave owner. But this is the funny part that I've pissed off a lot of them with. I've went into the Washington County archives. His family is not mentioned as slave owners.
Nathan's is not mentioned as a slave owner.
No, he's not a slave owner.
Okay.
He grew up poor, and he had 13 siblings, from what I've known.
Well, back in the day, they didn't have TV. I want to quick do a shout out. Hey, good evening, Barbara Amons. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, David Nobar. Thank you for joining us. These two are always there. Whenever I go live, they pop up. So they must have me on some kind of pop up
Possibly.
so whenever I go live, I'm there. So David and Barbara, thanks for joining us. Tonight we're talking to Matthew Holmes, the author and historian of at least 8 books. I understand he has like 30 more tucked
Hmm.
away up here that he's working on. And he's going to be, towards the end of the show, he'll be talking about that as well. We also have a person here by the name of Teresa Kay. She loves the music. Thank you. Uh, was the music you love? Was it the Confederate Victory song, or was I'll probably get nailed for, or was it the song that I wrote and used Suno.com from Matthew's book? So Teresa, think about it. Which song did you like, or you like both of them? And Teresa, I always ask folks that I don't know, how do you come to know about Matthew and myself, and that sort of thing. Anyways, back to you, Matthew. So, Blood Mountains again was his title. Why?
Well, he was a patriot from the mountains of Southwest Virginia.
Okay.
And honestly, the reason why I chose that title is because during his time in the Washington County, Virginia militia, there was a lot of blood spilled.
Mm.
And why is that? There weren't battles, but there were skirmishes. Because you gotta think, Eastern Tennessee was very contested. Now, where is Washington County? It borders Tennessee.
Okay.
You
Okay.
had skirmishes, especially because of counties like Johnson County, Tennessee.
Um, and if I'm not mistaken, in the book, wasn't there was one part in the book where it said that the creek or the stream, whatever, was running blood, running
Yes,
blood, running red with the blood of the Union soldiers. You called them
yes,
bastards. I love the fact that that you don't let anything as far as your emotion get in the way of your writing. But I
no,
do have while I'm on that topic. I know you're writing in first person.
yeah.
So, how much of the content of the book, first person, is actually you knowing for sure these conversations took place, or are you placing yourself in that body at that time and making assume this is a conversation they may have had?
This would probably be half and half.
Okay.
Um, it's a little bit harder it was for me to get information on him because it was scattered. There's not much information you can find on the Washington County, Virginia militia. So I had to actually look into state archives. I had to look into the local museums around here to find information on
Now, real quick, in this particular book or any of your books, do you? I know in times of war, the home folks will write to their loved ones in battle, and vice versa.
it. Yeah,
Sometimes the soldiers will keep like a personal journal of their
yeah.
experiences on their person. Um, so, do you have when in the books that you write? Do you have anything like that, like the letters between the loved ones, or a journal or a diary, that kind of thing?
I have one, but it's in a project that is soon to be started called Blood at the Courthouse. And the reason why that title is it's going to be about my fourth great grandfather, Private William Franklin Campbell of the 37th North Carolina Infantry, Company B, Watauga Marksman. And he was actually killed in action at the
Mm.
Battle of Spotsylvania Courthouse. Hence the title Blood at the Courthouse. But I have letters from him and his wife that the SCV preserved for me.
That's cool. Um, uh, you mentioned that you get a lot of your information from libraries and other things. When you reach
Yes,
out to the various Confederate organizations like the SCV or whoever, uh, uh, would I be correct in making an assumption that uh, there's an expense on your end to perhaps gain access to these things, or because you're
quite
an
a bit.
author, do they give this stuff to you freely?
Quite a bit, but I do it in my own personal will so I can actually help them grow. Yeah, I pay them a little bit.
So Teresa K says she is your cousin. She loved the song that I did about you. She says that you are a wonderful teacher and has helped her to learn so much more about your family. That's pretty cool. That's a high recommendation coming from a family
So,
member.
interesting thing about her and me. So, I told you just now about William Campbell. That would be her third great uncle.
Okay.
His brother, William's brother, he also served. He was a North Carolina Confederate as well. So they actually served in the same unit.
Hmm. You know, I can only imagine that there are not that many people today who live in the South who, at some point or other, had a loved one fight for the South and either survived it or died for their efforts to secede the states. It's just like, I do genealogy, and all my clients that come to me because of my broadcasts
Yeah.
and the things I do, and they what they want to know: do I have ancestors who fought in the war? I want to know. Oh, because to join the various organizations like the SCV, you have to show a bloodline to a Confederate
Yeah.
soldier. So it's cool that you are writing these books because you're writing these books because of your connection to the family, but at the
Yes.
same time, like Teresa,
Hmm.
she would also have a connection to the family, and she can learn more about that through
Yes.
the writings of your book. So someone might pick up the book, say, "Oh, you know what? I recognize that name. That person's on my tree. Holy smokes, we're related." Um, and a gentleman here, he says he knows you. He goes by the name of Azuz.
Hmm.
Okay, so he says hi.
Howdy. So I got another thing to add as well. So you notice the title, right?
Uh huh.
Blood in the Mountains. You notice the background. Guess what that is? It's not a
Well,
mountain, but that's actually from the Battle of Saltville. This is
okay.
also where I will be, y'all. I will be selling signed copies, etc. Or if y'all have anything y'all want to talk about history wise, I will be there on September 12th, the 13th, and the 14th.
Well, you know what? That is quite the lead into my next video. You mentioned about Saltville, and I think,
Yes.
if I'm not mistaken, you also mentioned Saltville in the other book, Hell in the Cell.
Yeah.
So I have two short videos here of reenactments of the Saltville battle. So let me get these pulled up here.
So my fourth great uncle was killed there.
Okay, okay. Uh,
Thomas Talbot.
say the name again.
Private Thomas Talbot, 6th Battalion Reserves.
Okay. And real quick, before I play the video, tell the folks who are watching why the Saltville was so important for the Confederates to hang on to.
All right, so the reason why Saltville was so Confederate, well, it was so important to the Confederacy, is because it was the salt capital of the Confederacy. And if you didn't have salt, you could not preserve your meat.
If I'm not mistaken, I could have swore I also read in a book where after the battle, the Confederate soldiers went to try and pick up the pieces, and that there was
Yes.
cannonballs and powder and stuff like that also there. Was that stored there, or was that there because of the battle that was expected?
That was there because of local defense.
Say it
For,
again.
that was there for local defense. So, Jeb Stewart,
Right.
his brother, William Alexander Stewart, and he was the Saltville Artillery. He was actually in charge of protecting the salt works. He's
Okay.
actually buried there as well. I've actually read his testimony. He's buried on the side of my fourth great uncle, Augustus Sanders, Sr.
Okay. So in the book where it mentions where your people went to try and find what was left over as far as the cannonballs and powder,
Yeah.
that was there because of Jeb Stewart's people being there to protect the salt mines. Okay,
Yes.
so let's reel this up here. Bum, bum, bum. Whenever I've been to these reenactments, I always wonder to myself, how do you know when it's your turn to drop dead?
Did you notice in that reenactment video the mountain?
Yeah, I saw that.
Well, it's the same here. I got it from that.
Okay, okay, okay.
Where I grew up there, I like to take pictures of the mountains. Sometimes I use them in my artwork, which I do in book covers, etc. For example, this one right here, Chemtrails Over Dixieland, I also took that in the area.
You also what?
I also took that as well, doing mountain photography in the area.
Okay, the mountain range that's in that picture, where's that supposed to be at?
That would be the well fields.
Oh, the oil fields,
No, the well fields.
well fields.
That would be looking at the Smith County, Washington County line.
Okay. Now the chemtrails that's in that picture, are they real chemtrails, or did you put them in
Yes.
there? Okay.
So that picture alone, where that was taken at, what y'all said, that would be Mount Rogers.
Okay.
Mount Rogers is about, I want to say, 25 minutes from here. But I've hiked up there and I've done mountain photography.
Teresa, you said there's an echo. When do you hear the echo?
Probably during the video.
Well, yeah,
Whenever
but
they cut-
sometimes, depending on, sometimes people say they hear an echo. There's music playing or some kind of, or like a video is playing. The other thing is too, and I understand that sometimes an echo occurs because you're not using headphones. So what happens is you probably have a speaker turned on so you can hear me. And what happens is that my voice coming across your speaker is being picked up by your microphone, is being fed back into the system. So it's kind of back and forth with my voice, but I don't hear it that badly, so I'm not going to worry about it. There are some folks where the echo is really bad. That's just because of their whole setup. But yeah, that's probably why she's hearing an echo every so often. But it's not a big thing. I'm not hearing it. I don't think it's going to be interfere with the show or not. Um, so uh, let's go through the book a little bit here.
Yeah,
Um, you have the picture here. Um, I guess that's he and his wife, correct?
that would be, yes, Nathaniel Matthew Holmes and his wife, Nancy Grogan Holmes.
Okay. Who has uh, ownership to that picture?
My family.
Okay. 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 So we have someone just joined us called Boris the Mouse.
Hmm.
Do-
So the first time I had actually seen that picture of them would be at my great grandmother's house. She passed away in 2020.
Okay.
She was 98.
Wow. That's a nice age. So I'm going. The reason why I'm asking about the picture is that
Yeah,
I know you write in your own unique style,
yes.
but I know from everything that I do personally with my business and so forth is that it's tradition, not tradition, but it's usually not tradition. But anyways, when an author uses images,
Hmm.
pictures, things like that, you give credit to where the photograph came from.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if that is a big thing to you,
The reason,
but you asked me to review the books, so that's why I'm
so
bringing it up.
I
So
didn't, I didn't really give credit to that because it's been passed down from my family. It was my great grandpa's, but I never really knew him because he died when I was 3. But Granny Holmes kept on to that.
okay. Um, and I'm only again, you can tell me to shut up if you want, but you asked me to review. I'm just coming from a professional standpoint. Is that, for example, if I use a song on one of my broadcasts,
Yeah,
and if I don't own the rights to that song, I'll get
Hmm.
dinged from Facebook and they'll shut me down. Um,
Yeah.
that's why I'm very critical on the music. Same with pictures and videos and so forth. You have to give credit to where it came from. So perhaps
Yeah.
moving forward, underneath the picture, you should say photo courtesy of Aunt Jemima or whatever. That way you're given you're given credit to where the photograph came from, and then they can't come back to you and say, "Hey, you stole that picture.
Thing is,
I want."
I don't really know where that picture come from, other than it was passed down. That's all I know because of what
Okay.
Brennan Holmes told me.
I'm just bringing
Yeah.
because when you become a very big professional, a national author, just be aware to
Yeah.
give respect to where the photograph came. Photo courtesy of Randall Rhodes or something like that. That way, I can't come to you later and say, "Hey, I want royalty rights because that book just hit $1 million, and you use my pictures and you give credit to where the picture came from."
Personally,
That-
I don't do what I do for personal preference. I do that to preserve my family's history because I
no,
feel
I
it's
understand. I understand. I understand. Um, I'm going to assume that the images of the military records, wait, uh,
that would be fold. Yes.
yeah, faux three. I use that myself a lot. Um,
Did you
uh,
notice the other picture beside it? Remember I was telling you about
about
Mount Rogers? That's Mount Rogers.
yeah, it says soon we took an expedition up to Mount Rogers in Smythe County, Virginia. Again, the way you write, I was getting tired because
Yeah.
I mean physically tired. I'm like right there with you with the guys, walking, the mountains and how some of the guys they
Yeah.
fell down a crevice and they got stuck and they're being shot at by the Union soldiers.
Yes.
And again, I love the way you say this. And that small fence only, I love this in that small fence, only around 20 Yankee bastards fell down dead in long, deep raves. Only 20. That's like, God, to me, that's a pretty good number.
It is a good number, but it isn't. Like I said, it wasn't really battles that happened around, the state line in that part. It was small skirmishes.
Right. But small skirmishes add up over a period of weeks.
Yes.
You have 20 small skirmishes and might lose 10, 15, 20
Because
soldiers, but it adds up.
I'm sure you've heard about it too. There was parts of eastern Tennessee that were heavily contested. Well, right at Washington County, where it borders right near Johnson County, Tennessee, Johnson County was very contested.
So why was it contested? What was there that
Uh,
someone else?
Divided loyalty. So you had some people that were trying to avoid the war. Some got conscripted, and then some got forced by, of course, Unionists to fight or die,
Hmm,
join or be
right.
arrested, etc. And it's the same thing that happened in Maryland. It's the same thing that happened in Kentucky, and so on.
I'm thinking, uh, the way things are now, when a man turns 18, legally he has to register for the draft. Okay,
Yeah,
and somehow they have a way of tracking your age. My s- my my son was pissed at me. He wasn't going to do it. And
yeah.
he was not going to. I don't know how old he was. And I finally found out that he had not done it, so I did it for him. And when he got don't notice in the mail, he was pissed. So someone named Boris the Mouse. Do you know that person?
Sounds familiar.
Okay. All the images is a purple background with the letter B and Boris the Mouse. Okay. Um, The one thing I liked Fold 3
Yeah,
because when my clients when I find Confederate soldiers for my clients, they want to know all the information I can get about them.
yeah.
Sometimes I only have one or two pages. Sometimes I'll have 20, 30, 40 to print out.
Hmm.
What makes the difference, okay, between a soldier only having one page where it has his name, the unit he's with, and a particular date. That's it. And others have 20, 30, 40 pages.
Some were more documented, some others weren't. I mean, like for example, a lot of these they had to be rushed to defense. A good example would be whenever Stallman came through Southwest Virginia. You really think that a lot of these men were prepared for what he brought to the people? Absolutely not. They were rushed at the last minute. A good example of this would be the Wythe County Depot men and the Dublin County Depot men. I mean, these men were just locals. They were sent to the train, and they were sent to places like Abington, where they had to defend against Stallman. And once Stallman, made his way through, first thing he done, he torched a big portion of the town, and then he torched the courthouse.
Let me ask you this. Explain to me how uh, military records like Fold 3, like I said, some people have 20, 30, 40 pages. It lists every day that, present,
Yeah,
absent, went to the hospital.
that's an easy.
Who is keeping track of this stuff? Because you're in battle, you're fighting.
I wanna say probably the state, etc. But that because of course they were keeping this stuff, but even after the war, it fell to the state. But a lot of these records, because you brought up a good point, how there's not as much as others may be, right? But that's because a lot of these records were destroyed.
Mm.
And they were destroyed by, of course, the Union Army when they came through. Like I said, why did they torch the courthouses? Because the courthouses held all the records. They burned the courthouse in my county, in Smith County. They done it to Washington County. And actually, there's records and historical newspapers of when Stoneman's army came through, he raped the women.
Yeah, I
So,
saw that, and you mentioned in here how the one guy's daughter was raped. I mean, right there would be enough for me to get my gun and go out there and start shooting some people.
yeah,
But why would they? Why would they burn the courthouse and documentation? Wouldn't you think they would want to keep the documentation so they can track out where these people live out? Because you don't have like it's not like you have like a neighborhood like we do nowadays where you have streets and street signs and so forth. I mean, they're out there
I
in the
think
boonies.
I, I think personally it was more of a control thing. If you know what I mean by that, it basically showed that they seen themselves as more superior because they could destroy their very existence, etc.
Right. But I mean, I can see burning down the courthouse after they remove all the records. 'Cause that way, if you ever watched the movie Red Dawn, okay,
Yeah,
when I think it was the Russians and the Cubans invaded one
yeah,
part of our country, they went to the various like mayor's office and so forth and went through all the records looking for it because you bought a gun, you had to register it.
yeah.
They were looking for the address, the names of those who own the gun. So you would think the same thing would be here. Instead of just blatantly destroying the documentation, just use it to find out where these people live, see what kind of weapons they might have, and so forth, and use that against them.
Yes, but back then it was a little bit different. Like I was telling you, this army, the Union Army, they believed they were superior and that they could do whatever they wanted,
Yeah.
put fear into civilians. And if you've seen in Blood in the Mountains, I had historical newspapers, which
Hmm.
I did actually put my sources for that. It was the Washington County Historical Society. And anyway, these women, there was mass suicides.
Yeah, I can't blame you for that.
They were traumatized at what Stoneman's army done. And there was a lot of incidences with this. But and here's the sad part. That's only a small fraction of what the Union Army actually did throughout the South.
And this might sound like a dumb question, but we're on the subject of rapes and burning of towns and so forth.
Yes.
And I don't have a lot of knowledge of reverse Confederates fighting in the North. Would I be correct in saying that the Confederate soldiers might have did some of the same as far as burning down cities and towns?
There was maybe three incidents, if that, versus the Union doing it to the entire South.
Right.
And then they came to the mountain counties of Virginia and present day West Virginia to families that just wanted to be left alone. They brought the war to them. That's why the local militias mustered out. That's why you had some of the militia units that, while they had disbanded during 1862, once they saw these men in their home, in their region, in their town, they literally re-enlisted the militia. They re-instigated it. They restarted it. So then what you have there is actually the local militia trying to fight against them. They're trying to defend the people there. A good example of this would be in Morgan County, the 89th Virginia Militia. Then you also had another good example, which was the Washington County Virginia Militia. Even though they had disbanded, guess what? They were still put back in defense. Same with Scott County and the surrounding counties.
I must have read over this one part. I'm going through a little couple pages at a time,
Oh, that's
and this name must have passed my mindset about Patton.
yeah,
Patton was in this particular area. That blows my mind because I know
right,
it's General Patton, and here he is, his grandfather.
yeah.
That's pretty cool.
His grandfather, which I've actually got his battle flag. Hold on, let me get it out. Give me a second.
Yep, take your time.
36th Virginia Infantry,
Army of Western Virginia.
Virginia.
That's cool.
Present day West Virginia.
That's cool.
So I've actually been trying to preserve all of the history. The maps that you've seen, I made myself. Those were very difficult and very time consuming, but well worth it.
I can imagine it. Not only that, I mean, um, it's like we mentioned earlier how the Union soldiers that they're one of their targets, besides obviously killing the officers, was to steal, take
Yeah,
seize the flags, and by you having these flags in your possession, in a way, I mean, I know they're not the original ones that were in battle or
yeah,
were carried into battle, but at least you have uh, 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 copies, if you will, of the battles, and they're in your
absolutely.
possession, and you're saying to your descendants that you're proud of what they did, and
Yes,
these will be protected and passed on forward to the next generation, which is pretty cool.
to honor
Uh,
them. Absolutely.
Correct, honor them. Correct. Um, it's kind of like when my dad passed away.
Mhm.
Uh, I didn't get a lot because my mom was still living. That sounds terrible. But my mom gave my brother and me a couple of things, to reminisce on. And some things, my dad's in the Air Force, so she gave me some of his stripes, uh, his,
Yeah,
uh, his insignia on his uniform, things like that she knew that I liked because of being a historian. So
yeah.
I have those, which is pretty cool to remember. My dad was in the Air Force and so forth. Um, was the voluntary enlistment, do you think, difficult, or did they have to really go after the guys and force them to join up?
Well, yes and no. It just really depended on the area. But like my area, for example, Southwest Virginia, people here, their loyalty was, of course, to their state. They had their loyalty to Virginia. They did not betray Virginia. And so, therefore, that's why we had some of the highest Confederate enlistment in the state.
Now, I did see where one in one part of your book it mentions about a high rate of desertion
So,
because when they signed up to fight for a specific
yes.
area where they lived, and
Hmm.
then when that battle was over, they're being reassigned to other areas that they
Yes.
did not agree to fight for.
So, I'm going to explain that one too. So, the reason why desertion was so high is because of what they learned with Stoneman's army when they came through what they were doing. And then these patriots realized, I can't leave my family behind with them doing that because they will kill them. And so you had a lot of them that were going home. Why? To defend their families.
Yeah,
And I
absolutely.
don't see that wrong. What Stoneman did was beyond evil. I mean, another really bad one too was General Sheridan. He was also a Union general, and what he did, he burned the entire Shenandoah Valley.
Hmm.
And then, of course, then there's Sherman, and then Butler. Butler basically done that of New Orleans, but he put the people in martial law, and the people that didn't listen, he executed them.
Hmm.
Don't that sound pretty familiar?
It does. In your book, you mentioned about a reunion of the soldiers getting together and reminiscing. I actually found a 2 minute video of two soldiers. One's a Union, one's Confederate, uh, and they are talking about the war. I'm not sure
Mhm.
what part of it here, but I'll quick share this here because it goes along with what you're saying in the book as far as
Yeah.
they had a reunion to get together to talk. um, so bum, 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 bum.
In 1861, I enlisted in the War of the Rebellion at Warsaw in Benton County, Missouri under Colonel O'Kane, then a captain. We went to Coal Camp, fought the Dutch, and cleaned them out completely. Lost only 7 of our men with more than 250 of the Dutch killed. No prisoners taken on either side. From there, we went to Springfield, Missouri, where we had the Battle of Wilson Creek, where General Lyon was killed on the 10th of August. The bravest man I ever saw was General Lyon, after he was completely surrounded and pulled off his horse. He picked up rocks and fought with thousands of men around him. He struck Will Morgan in the face with a rock, and John Morgan shot him with an old-fashioned horse pistol, killing him. How old are you? I'm 94. 94, pretty good age for a young man. Yes. Now you ask me how old I am. How old are you? 84. 84. You was in the same war. Same general. I'm the same general, General Price. That's good. Fine old man, too. Good man. Good man he was, yes he was, and we was there to stay. We didn't enlist.
you know it's amazing how much of our history
Yes.
has been saved either through video, through the writing, like
Yes.
authors, and so forth. And hopefully, when people read your books, 10, 15, 20 years from now, if we were ever thinking about going to war again, that they'll read the books and say, you know what, maybe that's not a good idea.
Yeah.
Let's leave the South alone. They're good fighters. They're fighting for the love of their land, their country, their family, and let's
Well,
just leave them alone.
even even after the war ceased to end, if you know what I mean by that.
Hmm.
Basically the fighting stopped. There was some fighting, but it wasn't really like it was. It had calmed down. You had, of course, there were former Yankee soldiers who came to the mountains here. They were just looking for a better life, to escape what they had went through. So they reconciled with these former Confederates. They didn't have a problem with them. But what did they exactly fight for? They only had divided loyalties. One was, they swore an allegiance to, of course, the Union government, and then the other swore allegiance to their home. But one thing they fail to ever bring up is the majority of Lincoln's soldiers weren't even citizens. They were immigrants. A
Yeah.
big portion.
Yeah. One of the one thing that I always do when uh, I do genealogy and I come across pictures and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and I want to make sure that what I'm looking at is real to that particular person.
Hmm.
And I'm going to show you something. My daughter, like about a year ago, showed me this really, really neat, uh, so I say, website or
Yeah.
app. It's called Google Lens. Okay.
Mm.
And Google Lens, for those folks who don't know what it is a software program that you can take any image
Yeah.
and you can take it to Google Lens, and Google Lens, within a matter of microseconds, will find that particular image. So, for an example, this here was taken from uh, Matthew's book. Okay.
Yes.
So, when I did a Google Lens of it, look what it finds. It tells me exactly where that image came from.
Hmm. I like that.
So, not only do we have the veracity of the author and the intensity of him uh, uh, doing his due diligence to make sure that the information he uses for his books is authentic and real and true, you can Google him. I say, hey, okay, yeah, right, that picture. And then you go to Google Lens, and holy shit, there it is. It's exactly what he said it was. Um, And I was going to do more, but I ran out of time before the show started. It was like one of those last minute, hey,
No,
I
no,
get,
you're fine on that.
but, the fact that, uh, okay, he Boris, do you know what this means, Matthew?
I'm going to ignore that. That's something that, yeah, I'm not going to talk about on here.
Okay, okay, so I'm going to remove that. Okay, um, so,
It's just a troll. That's all it is.
right, so you don't know who the Boris the Mouse is?
Now I don't. I mean, I thought I did, but I talk to more than 100 people a day, so I kind of lose track.
So if Boris the Mouse sends anything more that might be offensive, I'll remove Boris the Mouse then from the feed. Right now, I don't know who he is or where he came from. But you know what I could do real quick? Do
Just curiosity. So, what did you think about Blood in the Mountains?
you know Werewolf Legion?
Do what?
Werewolf Legion?
Ignore that. That's trolls.
Okay, so I'm gonna get rid of these. It's just kind of weird how I never had these before. Oops, get rid of that. Get rid of that, Randy. Okay, how do I get rid of this? I got to copy. Da-da-da-bum. Oh, I guess I can't get rid of them. I just won't show them. Um, so overall, what did I think of the book? I loved it. it makes me want to, like I said, so since I finished the second book, I'm going to start reading the third book, which is the Vengeance book. I'm going to start reading that one tonight. Um, Again, this is one of those books, folks. We support free speech, but not when it's offensive to people. Um, could you, Matthew? Could you just talk for a little bit? I want to see if I can find a way to get rid of this guy.
This is for history purposes only. I'm not here to discuss anything like that. I'm only discussing war between the states. That's it.
How did I get rid of these guys? You would think that this software. I wish there was a way of getting rid of these two guys, but I can't figure out how to do it.
I'll just ignore it.
Yeah,
But
the point of it is it's going to be on the feed, but I'll try and get rid of them later. Uh, there is, I will address at this point. There is free speech,
yeah,
then there is free speech. For example, President Trump trying to protect the American
yeah,
flag. Some people say it's free speech to burn it. Other people say no, it's not. I don't think burning a flag should be a part of the free speech narrative. Supporting the flag, flying the flag, giving the flag support, yes. This flag back here on my wall, again, I give that all my support, all my loyalties to
yeah.
that flag because I have ancestors who fought and died for that flag, and that's why it's on my wall. But we're coming to an end here, so uh, I love the book. It draws you into it. It makes you part of the narrative. It makes you want to um, uh, uh, just keep reading and not put it down. And it's just sort of like that TV series where you start watching the series
Yeah,
and you're in episode one. Season one, episode one, and God, you can't get up. You want to watch episode two and episode three. The
I've got
next thing you know,
I've got another project I've started that y'all will actually be interested in.
yeah, you
Well,
mentioned. Yeah, what is that?
that would be called the Confederate South.
The next thing you know,
Why? I've got another project I've started is because the enlistment numbers have been lied about. They've lied about our numbers, etc. Because if you look at fold, if you look at the number given, it doesn't make sense because they don't count the irregular troops. They just count the regular.
okay. Um, Let me ask you this: uh, what do you think was the reason that the South did not fight the war? I mean, obviously, it'd probably be the number of soldiers fighting and so forth.
Yeah.
But beyond the numbers of soldiers in uniform, was there anything different that the generals could have done to make things different?
Well, they could have had more units stationed in the towns, etc., like local defense, and not just scattered throughout the region. That's a problem that we had. We did not have enough to defend the homes, etc., and what happened? The Unionists burned the area. They burned the Shenandoah Valley. They burned from Columbia, South Carolina, all the way to, of course, Atlanta, and so on. And even in Wayne County, present day West Virginia, one of the first towns there was burned in 1861 by Unionist troops.
Hmm. I really wish there was a way of getting rid of these comments. They're starting to annoy me now. I apologize, Matthew. I know I'm just a little bit distracted with these.
Oh no, you're
Uh,
fine.
I'll have to find out for next time because I have a feeling that these people are going to troll me every time I go live now because I don't know how the software here. You would think there'd be a way of kicking these guys out, and I just don't see it here. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, that's all there is. Um, we're coming to an end here, folks, and to those trolls, I will find a way to kick you out and to block you. In fact, what I'm going to do here, real quick, is take a picture of your names, so I can go afterwards and block you guys. Where's the other one at? Smile, you're on camera. I think there was one more. Yeah, there he is. Okay, so I will block them after the fact. So I really can't wait to get into this next book. I can't wait for the books to come in the mail. Um, I do have some information about the whole chemtrails thing. I know they're looking to pass laws to make it illegal for chemtrails to seed the clouds now.
Yes.
So they are working on that. So that's absolutely great. Um, and unless you don't have anything else to talk about, I want to play one more song that I created. Um, I'm going to play this one song here. It's about Suzanne's story because you mentioned in the chemtrails over Dixie, there's something there about sex trafficking, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and you said you wanted Suzanne to be part of that broadcast. So I'm going to play this song just like what I did with you, Matthew. I took her words and I put it into Suno, and then Suno created the music. So I'm going to play this. It gives you a background on her situation. And then when I get the chemtrails book, I'm going to let her know so that she can be part of that broadcast.
My name is Susan. I have a story to tell. I was torn from my baby boy, my child, and thrown into modern day slavery. My sexual human traffickers never wanted me to live.
Okay, excellent. That is Suzanne Arcado. She was sex trafficked, and she said she would love to be on the broadcast when we talk about the book Chemtrails Over Dixie. And Gopnik Bear, just so you know, I do also support Israel. So stop your stupidity there. You're just making an ass out of yourself. And I will find a way to block you three guys after the fact. Uh, Matthew, I'm so glad that you're here tonight. I'm going to anticipate a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks. Thank you, Teresa. Uh, she said, beautiful song. So a week and a half, 2 weeks from now, we'll be doing this again, and we'll be talking about Spirit of Vengeance. I can't wait to start reading it. Folks, before we go to those who I'm going to give a voice to, anyone have any last comments or questions for our guest, Matthew Holmes? Give it a moment or two. Okay. So with that, Matthew, thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of this. I apologize for the three individuals who tried to ruin this for us tonight, but we'll find a way to take care of them later. So, folks, I am Randy of All Roads Lead Home Genealogy, Colonel Randall Rhodes of the Carolina Grey Ghosts. We follow General John Mosby, and this is Matthew Holmes, author and historian. And do you belong to any? I'm sure you belong to some Confederate groups, correct?
The SIA, probably.
The SIA. And I'm also a member of SIA.
I'm currently working on getting into the SCV. I've got my paperwork for it. I've just got to get the rest of it filled out, along with the MOSB, the Military Order of the Stars and Bars.
There you go. Yeah, I know about them. Uh, I was a member of the CSA2 for a while, but I dropped out. Um, and folks, in case you didn't know, check them out. These are just people who live in the South trying to protect that which is near and dear to them, which is family, home, and God, and country, and their own faith, which the North is trying to continue to destroy. And we are trying to continue to fight for it. And President Donald J. Trump is there with us. He's doing his best to help protect the South as well. And with that, Matthew, I'm going to remove you from the scene, and I'm going to kill you all. That's a bad word, Randy. Shut off his microphone. And folks, again, other than those three individuals, I will try and find a way to block you guys for next time. Just idiocy, trying to ruin a good show. Barbara, Dave, Azuz, let's see, Teresa, and all those others who were watching but not making any comments. Thank you for being here this evening. We'll be doing this again in maybe a week and a half to 2 weeks when we talk about Spirit of Vengeance. Take care, folks. Have a great rest of your evening.